Hi guys. Woo. What's up guys? Favorite music, the SirenSims, back at it again with another video. And today we're doing something really cool. We are redoing a sim. Now, not completely. Sorry for the chickens in the back. I just wanted to update her hair. This is Rose. She will be the star of our new Let's Play, and I have an incredible backstory for her, but I'm setting it up so that you guys can see a few pictures of some of the stuff I'm talking about. And I want to make that video very special, so you're not going to get that video until later on. But I did want to just, show you her, and then soon after, sometime this week, I'll show you her house. This, some of my best work in terms of the bathroom, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I think when I was doing her hair, I had a few conflictions. Because she's black, of noir complexion. I really struggled in okay, do I give her an Afrocentric hairstyle? But then nothing was really fitting her face properly, and maybe I should just updated her face, because as you guys know, I've used the Afrocentric hairstyles before on the Sims that I had that were like my main characters and stuff, and they look great. But for some reason on her, even though they looked nice, it wasn't giving me rosé. So I just sort of put on one of my favorite hairs on her. Well, I have most of the hairs that I have right now are my favorite, but I put one of my favorite hairs in the hat section on her and kind of called it a day. But I do want you guys to see the different hair selections that I have, because if you guys ever ask me, where did you get these hairs from, guys, I literally okay, so for some of the white hairs like this one, like the one that Alex has, you literally get it if you download the sim. And for these type of hairs, like the black hairs, I showed you guys in a prior video where I get all of my Afrocentric 4C kinky black people noir aesthetic hairs. Please go down to my CC Hall playlist in the playlist tab and just keep going till you see 4 black hair. Please. I showed you where to find hairs like this in Sims 3 and Sims 2, okay? I showed you guys just for this moment, okay? Now, why did I change her hair? I changed her hair because I made my Sim self a couple weeks ago, and I used the same hair that she had originally, the Bantu style locks, because it's like my favorite hair right now, because I have locks in real life. And so they don't look exactly like that in real life, but it was the closest thing I could get. They don't really have sister locks in The Sims 3. I probably have to learn how to do CC myself to make that happen. But I decided to change it because I didn't want her to look so similar to my Sim. Especially since we have the same type of aesthetic. I'm not wearing the same outfit as her, but I'm wearing academia in my Sims 3 thing. So I'm just instead of just, looking exactly like this girl, aesthetic and hairstyle, let's just switch it up a little bit. And I absolutely love what we came up with here. So one thing I did, because now my game is working to the point where I can actually switch between stuff without having to wait 5 minutes per switch. What does that mean? I used to have so much CC, or didn't have the smooth patch and all those stuff culminated, that if I would click on hair, I'd have to wait 3 minutes for the hair to open. And that would mean that how you can have hair for formal, hair for sleepwear, hair. No, I'm keeping the same hairstyle for everything, because I'm not waiting 3 minutes in between to switch around and add different hairstyles. Do you know what I mean? So once I cleaned up my act and only had the CC that I would actually use in here, it made it easier. I could finally just go into hair whenever I want. It only takes a few seconds to load up now. And so I thought, you know what, let's be cute. Let me add different hairstyles for her per section. So that's what I did, and I'm very happy that I did it. So I gave her variations of the same type of hairstyle. However, I'm still just showing you the hairstyles that I have here. Why am I talking in real time? Number one, I can't talk in real time because everything loads that fast now. I don't necessarily have to speed everything up now. And I wanted to tease a little bit of her story, but not really, because that's going to be a good video. So there will be romance. There will be intrigue, there will be interest, and what I'm planning to do, right? I'm planning to play her for as long as I can, but then as soon as anything pops up where it's like, oh, I want a baby or I don't want a baby, then I will add generations, because kids are just better with generations, and I don't even really play with kids like that, but it'll definitely make it funner to play. More fun to play. Yeah, so as you can see, I stopped trying to give her black hair at this point, or hair of the noir complexion. That phrase I made up was crazy. And I was like, you know what, these straight hairs kind of be fitting her. I think it just kind of goes with the aesthetic, which is unfortunate, but doesn't really make much sense. I've made black Sims with Afrocentric hair and academia aesthetic, but I think because her hair is pink as well, the kind of straight laced pink just kind of goes better with this on this particular Sim. So yeah, I decided, you know what, let me just give her some, straight hairs. Like I said, this is also like a mini showcase of the hairs that I have. I'm trying not to add too many hairs. Oh, little update, because I'm playing this game in the background. I'm going to be playing it a little bit every day until I get to the point where I'm like, okay, everything is set up properly. Everything makes sense now. So now I can, show you guys everything. So it will kind of start off like a current household, but only because I didn't start the Let's Play with you guys. However, I'm only playing it a little just so that the story that I'm going to give you in a day or a week will make sense. I really want that story to make sense, and because I cannot use Master Controller right now, I can't just set it up in the back. If I had Master Controller, you guys would be getting the first episode way quicker. But because I don't have Master Controller, I kind of have to organically play the game so that what I'm saying makes sense. Now, everything that I'm saying in the story is not gonna happen. Like the piece of the backstory with her parents, you're not really gonna be able to see them because I didn't make them. I have to make them and kill them. I don't have time for that. So it's fine. But I'm the type of person, I'm very imaginative. I can just make up a whole story in my head, but I'm not gonna sit there and make up everything and then you can't see it. So for example, let's say Rose was into this person and they had a relationship when they were 5 years old. They were friends when they were 5 years old, and they grew up sweethearts, childhood sweethearts, high school sweethearts, college sweethearts, and then they broke up and then now they're finding each other. If that was the story, because I don't have Master Controller, I wouldn't be able to simulate that without playing them in the town and somewhat at least trying to get them to sleep with each other, be together for a second and then break up or become distant. So I would literally just be talking to this person for the first time, and you guys would see me talking to them for the first time, but yet I said that they've been knowing each other for a long time. You know what I mean? So I don't really want to do that. A lot of people do that, and I will probably do that later on in another LP. But for this one, I really want the story to be a little different and a little special. So I'm trying my hardest to at least give certain people the relationships that are required, so that when I tell you the story, it'll make sense. Alright, I'm also running my story by Tokyo. She's getting a little bit of a sneak peek of the story. Because, I'm really proud of it. I really sat down that day and I was just at first I was going to say a story because you guys don't know this. I'm going to say it now so I don't fill it up in the story section. The story part of the Let's Play setup. I used to write stories a lot when I was younger. It was just a fun pastime. I used to find interactive storytelling games when I was a kid to play. So I definitely am about that storytelling life. It's kind of waned. And when I was going to college, I was trying to get into creative writing, and that was a little bit difficult for me, but also not that difficult. I think definitely what's the word for it? I think definitely I have an affinity to tell a story. So I can't just come for the story on the fly, just turn on my recorder and just make up a 10-minute story about Rose. But I wanted it to be interesting, and let me tell you guys, when I sat down there and I made a whole story for her, I felt so good. Afterwards, I wanted to play the game so bad, which is why I ended up finishing her house makeover for the most part. I guess I could change some of the wallpaper, but the way this story is going, she could end up moving out of that house anyways. I just needed to have a bit of her style, which is a bit eclectic. You guys will see it when I turn on the house. So, what I wanted to tell you guys as well was her style. But yeah, I had a really good time. I had a really good time making the story because I took my time to make it. And I think sometimes, for those of you who want to do YouTube, I definitely understand, wanting everything to be as easy as possible. That's how I am as a simmer. Like, if I'm dropping a video, even if it is edited well, that's just because I've been making videos for over a year now. And so some of the more tedious things I can do more quickly. But I think that is the secret. You have to just keep doing it. It's going to be tedious, but you just kind of have to keep doing it. That way, special, cool things that set you apart or that establish you as a creator become a little bit more easy, because you're going to have to do all the tedious stuff. You're going to have to. You're going to have to speed up a section, slow it down, add this, add that. As usual, I'm always feeling self-conscious about the way that I make videos. I'm not feeling my videos are bad, but let me tell you something. As a Sims creator, you'll be feeling like your videos are boring. But then you watch like a famous Sim creator, and I'm not talking about people like Plumbella and Plumbella's friends, because they make funny content for the Sims. I feel like there's a difference between people who make funny Sims content and people who just make regular Sims content. What do I mean by that? So like Tokyo, she's kind of in the middle. She is funny, so her stuff ends up being funny. I'm kind of funny, but you have to get to know me a little bit to see that. So what I mean is, my Let's Plays aren't going to be inherently jokified. So I can't just do a chaotic Let's Play where I'm doing every crazy thing in The Sims. No, I'm gonna play it normal. That's just how I am. So if you want to do this, don't feel away. Like, everybody does the same thing, and unlike in The Sims 4, we're not gonna have drama just because somebody's doing something very similar to somebody else. Just make sure you're doing it the way you want to, and you differentiate yourself enough. There should be no drama. Okay? So I decided to get a little bit basic, okay, and give you guys a little bit of a history of the academia aesthetic, which is her aesthetic. Okay. So as you can see, I was changing her hairstyles. I gave her kind of this newspaper dress, which should, let you guys know what her career might be, okay? Or it might throw you off, who knows? So let's just talk about education, right? Academia refers to a style that is influenced by learning. Think tweed blazers and cozy reading nooks. That's kind of my aesthetic for real. I just don't like things close up to my neck. This is like personally about me. I don't like things close up to my neck, which is why I don't necessarily wear type of stuff, but it's still my aesthetic actually. It's perfect for spending hours while studying. The aesthetic then dives into subcategories, right? Like dark academia, darkest academia, light academia, art academia. Them art holes that like to read, yeah. And even romantic academia and chaotic academia. I have never even heard of chaotic or romantic academia, but we're about to talk about it today. These are marked by warm tones, woolen textures, and a more analog sensibility. Academia is the ideal comforting trend for winter. So her entire style is not academia, which is fine, but her everyday style is definitely academia. So I made her house partially a bit academia, partially a bit modern, and partially a bit, she has pink hair, so partially a bit girly girl and, kawaii. So you're gonna see that when I show you guys the house. So what are the ideals? The academia aesthetic views knowledge as king, and its subscribers have formed a welcoming community around the desire to learn. Just as anyone and everyone can be a scholar, academia is open to all who value intelligence and sophistication. meaning is particularly welcome in community for everybody, including the androgynous, non-binary, and LGBTQIA individuals, right? Whatever. So, the academia aesthetic, because there are so many words, the academia aesthetic revolves around the classics in dressing, novels, movies, architecture, but it's progressive when it comes to breaking stereotypes related to other aesthetics, right? Looking into the heritage of Ivy League universities for inspiration, academia seeks to emulate sophistication and status of established educational institutions. The elitism of these groups gives academia a sense of a legacy, while also being subverted by a more diverse community. The key element to embracing the classics is nostalgia, which I am all about nostalgia. Many followers of academia find inspirations from imagining private school life during the early 19th and 20th centuries, particularly from films like Dead Poets Society and in 1989 and School Ties in 1992. Alright? Like, it's a lot, but it's really cute. Okay, so what is the dress code for that, right? Anyone who identifies as academia reveres simple, sophisticated dressing. Anything you'd see on an Oxbridge, Ivy League, or Hogwarts student is a staple. Black turtlenecks, I can't wear turtlenecks, but they look cute. Wool tweed plaid coats, smart trousers, and ties are necessities in any academia look, except hers. Like, she got a bit of it, but she don't got a tie. A worn satchel is way better than a designer bag, especially if it's filled with thick, dark-eared novels. Hey! The dark academia aesthetic adds a gothic twist with a neutral color palette, grays, browns, and blacks, gloomy photos, and existential poetry. Definitely art ho, and I mean ho as in Heaux. Yes, we can all read books around here. I know another way to say ho. That's how you know you read a lot. Now, on TikTok, Pinterest, Tumblr, and Instagram, dark academia accounts post outfits ideas, often accessorized with staple coffee cups, novels, or rained-on windows. Ralph Lauren's Fall/Winter 2016 show is particularly prevalent on dark academia inspo pages, and an image of Iman Hammam bundled up in a tie and wool vest shows up again, right? So what's the pop culture influences of this? Donna Tartt's The Secret History, a murder mystery novel published in 1992, exemplifies the academia aesthetic, particularly for the dark academia subculture. In the novel, a group of clever students at an elite New England college invent their own way of thinking that eventually leads to the murder of their friend. Tartt's description of campus life at a Howard University, including the clothing that comes with it, is enamoring and intriguing for dark academia fans. So you see, there's a lot that goes into the style, right? Even books like If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio also served as such as inspiration for the aesthetic. We were always surrounded by books and words and poetry, all the fierce passions of the world bound in leather and vellum, Rio writes, right? In the film, the biological thriller Kill Your Darlings has an academia following for its dark depiction of writers Allen Ginsberg and Jack Kerouac's classmates' relations gone wrong, and the novel If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio serves as essential inspiration for this aesthetic. Now, let's get into a few modern influences for it. Dark academia has risen as one of the most popular translations of the academia aesthetic. So that subcategory of it has become more of the culture of it, right? The aesthetic has taken over TikTok, this platform heavily populated by teen users. While Like Academia offers a more romantic and physically brightens the take on the trend, and Art Academia focuses on paintings and sculptures rather than text and films, something about the comforting gloominess, comforting gloom, I just love that word, of Dark Academia has captivated Gen Z, or chimpanzee. Chimpanzee, I'm sorry. If you don't know where that joke came from, you don't watch enough YouTube. Pop culture's leaders of online hyper-curation, right? So the internet is a reliable tool for the easy aesthetic curation, but online inspo accounts take academia inspiration from real life too. As temperatures drop and dark academics picture themselves holed up in a library with snow falling outside, the runways are filled with heavy coats, plaid sweaters, and neutral tones. So when I continue to play her, because I'm going to add a few more packs as I play her, because I plan for her to be long term, especially since I'm going to be playing her with other generations, assumedly. I will add in the thick winter jackets and coats and everything. And just so you know, somebody who's going to be her love interest is wearing a really thick coat, but I wouldn't necessarily call it like an academia aesthetic. So yeah, as you can see, as I change hairstyles here and change outfits, I'm definitely just trying to do my best with her. She's just so beautiful. She's one of my favorite Sims that I've made. And I know I say this every time I make a Sim, but this is my tagline. I am not in the business of making ugly Sims. Also, down below, if you want to have me explain to you how I make Sims, going from face to hair to makeup, all the way down to personality, I can make a video series about that. Because I know sometimes you don't want to like risk downloading people's stuff, especially if you're not that much into CC or you already have your own CC and someone is in CC that you don't use. It would be easier just to know how to make it yourself. Like, I went through a period where I was downloading people's Sims like crazy. Then I was like, no, let me get 5 sliders and do it myself. So I did it myself. So yeah, that I just wanted to talk about the aesthetic of academia so you guys could understand her style a little bit. But she also is kind of into light academia as well. She's a little bit of a romantic, so she likes a girly aesthetic. So that way when you see her house, you won't be completely confused. Like, I thought you said she was in academia. Some parts of this house don't even... Relax. Okay. She is not a monolith. She incorporates a lot of things. I remember people were fighting about the fact that aesthetics have taken over and how it's not fair that people are forced to stick with an aesthetic. I'm like, look, if somebody thinks academia is their entire life, let them. Some people need style to give them identity, and other people use their identity to create their style. I use Rose's identity to create her style, which is why she has many different aesthetics, even across her different outfit looks. So yeah, that's why I did that. Please, the next video that will be coming out will be her house that I made over and added a little bit of clutter and cuteness. It's cute. Also, then after that, it will be the story. I'm putting it last, that way I can get the relevant footage and scenes and pictures to make that beautiful video, because the story is going to be really freaking good. And Tokyo can tell you down below that it's good. She's not going to tell you what it is because she is a good sport, but she'll let you know that it's good. Also, I love this bathing suit. Like, this bathing suit is one of my favorite bathing suits from Chamomile Wine. I actually did a CC haul of hers, which should be the last video that was here on this channel, was a CC haul by Chamomile Wine. So yeah, go check that out. All right. Yeah, I think I talked way too much, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tell me if you're excited for this series or if you're bored of hearing me talk. Please do enjoy the rest of your day. Tell me what your aesthetic is down below. I have a lot of them, but one of them is academia. Anyways, goodbye, Simmers. Susul.